Hi, I'm Becca.
I'm Noah.
This is our AP World end of year review video.
Yay, okay. The first question is, what preconceived notions did you have about AP World History during the summer before the year started? I said that I thought it was going to be really difficult because basically I was going from an 8th grade level class to a college level class, and when I was doing summer homework I thought that it was a lot, but that's also because I went from a school that really didn't give homework to a school that gave homework, and it's not that much homework. It's just I thought it was a lot, but it's not. You'll get over it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, so for me, I came from OLA, which we did take an AP course, AP Spanish, which I think helped me prepare just a little bit more. And during some of that, it's summer work. It was not a lot, but it was enough to okay, this isn't a joke course. It's something that's gonna actually pay off, and it's gonna be a lot of work, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Right. So the second question is, what was your first impression of Mr. D as a teacher and a person? I said at first I didn't know what to think, because I heard really good things about him, but at the same time I really wasn't sure how a high school teacher who was teaching again a college level course would teach how his techniques were. I wasn't really sure how he was gonna teach us how much we were gonna learn that year. But the more I got to know him, through debate, through AP World, it just you figure he's a really smart guy. He knows what he's talking about. So you should probably listen to him.
Yeah, for me, my first impression was he's nice, but he's nice but strict. He's gonna push you to your full extent. But he's not trying to be mean. He's just trying to get as much information out of you because he knows you can do it. You know you can do it. Mm-hmm. You just have to get the information out.
Yeah. Okay. 3. Okay. What was your first impression of AP classes after your first 10 days of academic challenges? Right. So I don't really remember the first days because they were long ago.
Yeah. We're filming this in May.
Yeah.
That was in September. That's
quite
a long.
But I pretty much have an idea of what we did, but we pretty much just do the work for Unit 1, first few years of the AP course, the very basics. It's like a baby step towards your future, I guess, through AP World. I'm pretty much just learning the ropes for the class, learning how to transition from summer to the school, from 8th grade to 9th, from summer work to schoolwork. So it was good though.
I realized it's gonna be a lot of work, and you have to manage your time wisely.
Yeah. Or
else you're not gonna be able to get through this course. You have to know how to manage your time and balance school, AP World, sports, your personal life, hanging out with friends. You have to learn how to manage all that.
Yeah, 100%. All right. What was the first major challenge you faced in the class? So my first major issue I realized I had when I started taking the class is that I didn't manage my time properly and that I didn't follow a good schedule. So one thing that I would really recommend is to kind of pace yourself according to the units and the study guides, and kind of go based off of that and not your social scene. I don't know. I played a lot of sports. I played sports for every season, and I kind of based everything around those sports instead of around AP World when it should have been AP World. But you need to figure out what matters more. It should be AP World, and you just need to take time out of other things to do your work for AP World. Make sure you're self-reliant. Make sure you know what you're doing.
But it's also important that you have those other aspects in your life
100%.
Because you can't just be AP World. You also have to balance your other classes as well. And I know a challenge for me has been I don't particularly follow or the notes he gives us for homework. So a challenge for me was writing down as much information as possible during class and writing notes for that.
Yeah, just organize is another thing that I forgot to say. Just make sure everything you have is organized, and then this class should go by without any problems. Right, okay. What adjustments did you make during the first marking period to improve your performance? So, the adjustments I made was, like, again, I took more time out of other things like sports or clubs or just, like, hanging out with friends to pay attention to AP World. I think that it's really important to, like, make sure you have the time to study, make sure you have the time to do the work, like the homework, make sure you have the time to review stuff, make sure you study for tests, like that kind of stuff. But honestly, you don't need to take out too much time, but you still should, AP World should be a priority, but it shouldn't be your whole life, but it should still be a priority.
Yeah, like for me, this goes into the next question as well. But what I knew I needed to do was I started out studying with a friend, but after a while it just became a burden to find time and study.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was right before I went to sleep, I would review all my notes. And the very important topics I would say out loud, because that's a good way for you to retain information that's very important.
Yeah.
And it's important to do that right before the night before the test, especially in your
Yes.
first period. It's the last thing that goes in your brain, sticks overnight.
That was 100%.
You might have some dreams about AP World.
Fun. When and how did you realize you were improving? How did it make you feel? Right. So, I realized I was improving when my history buff brother, he's like obsessed with history, he was just talking about the history of the world for absolutely no apparent reason, but I was listening. And I realized that I actually knew what he was talking about, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually as smart as my brother. That's crazy. But it was cool, and like it made me feel like accomplished because I was like, oh, I know stuff. Look at that. So that's kind of when I realized I was improving and like learning stuff.
Yeah. I know, like for me, like around December and January, like I just realized like something just hit me. I did a college level course that 20-year-olds take. Like that's a big deal, and you should be proud of yourself to be for taking this course.
Good for you.
It's not an easy course to take. It is a rigorous course but also gave more confidence to put my all not into only this class in AP World, but all of your classes, because they're also important.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Yeah.
Alright. Did you work with other students in some kind of study group outside of the school, class? What did it look like? How did it help you? So, like I said earlier, I tried, and it didn't go well. We would always just like, we would goof around, we would try, and then like 30 minutes later we'd be like, you know what would be fun? If we started watching a movie or played a board game or played Cards Against Humanity. Like it doesn't, like...
Yeah. But eventually you learn
you
what works
learn.
for you and how to study that benefits you.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So you just need to figure out what works for you. What worked for me is that I didn't want, like at the end, I kind of realized that I study better by myself. So that's just what works for me, but you also need to figure out what works for you. You need to figure out your own study method.
Yeah. What was your experience? The next question was, describe your experience writing the DBQ essay, which if you don't know, DBQ is document-based essay. You've given 7 documents and you need to write an essay about it.
Right. This is my least favorite thing about this class.
The LEQs?
I just hate writing. I think with me is that I knew the history, I didn't know how to write about the history. So a major thing for me was learning how to write a full essay. And I kind of may or may not have learned how to write a DBQ the week before the AP test, which you shouldn't do. If you have any problems, go to Mr. D. He will help you so much. After school, he has sessions in the library, and he will just kind of explain any question you have with him. And I've asked about DBQs before, and he'll explain, and then I'll be like, okay, I got it. And then I try, I'm like, oh, I don't got it. So you just gotta keep going and keep trying until you totally break through. And I kind of made that breakthrough a week before the AP test, so I would recommend a little more time before a week before the AP test to learn how to write an essay, but that's just something.
Yeah, like for me at the beginning of the year, I was using a sentence that I was exactly copying, like, I was also taking a lot of time, I couldn't finish it in class. But then, like, towards the middle of the year, I was starting, oh, okay, I'm typing faster, I'm able to process the information faster, presenting the documents. I was able to finish DBQ in class. And then towards the end of class, I was able to adjust the sentences just a little bit to make my essay move and flow a little bit more smoothly, but still making sure I can finish it in the time given. Yeah. It's also important to remember the things that Mr. D tells you.
Oh, yes.
Because it will help you improve. He will tell you stuff about your essay. And don't think it's constructive criticism, but it's good. You're gonna need to use it.
100%. You shouldn't be upset by it. If he says, oh, you need to work on the sentence, it's not like, oh, this sentence is horrible. You get an F- in this class. It's like, this is good. This is good, but you should work a little bit more on writing about whatever. Yeah, it's just, which is understandable because obviously he wants you to get the best grade you possibly can get.
The LEQ, which is a long essay question, just for you don't know, is pretty much the same thing as DBQ, but no documents.
So it all comes out of your brain. You just gotta remember and think, and it's the same like writing outline as a DBQ, so it should be, like if you know your DBQ stuff, you should be fine with your LEQs. You just need to realize that you don't have any documents to base yourself off of. You just need to find them yourself.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I didn't think we did enough LEQ practice throughout the year. Because every unit, at the end of every unit, we would write DBQ, but we didn't really write a lot of LEQs.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the year, we started writing a lot of LEQs. And then, like, you kind of forget the DBQ. So if it's possible, make sure to go over your DBQs and LEQs throughout the year. Make sure you know what you have to do as well.
It should be like a good pattern between LEQ and DBQ.
Yeah.
Also, write notes. Like for me, I watched a bunch of Heimler history, which you will learn about. It is the most amazing resource. I sound like an ad, but that doesn't matter.
Heimler history is amazing.
We love Heimler.
Little pause. Heimler history. He also does live videos the 3 days before the exam. They're helpful if you like the style that he does.
Heimler is my favorite person in the world. But I watched his video on how to write an LEQ, and that was really, really helpful. It just kind of explained how your outline should go, like what you should say in your outline, how you can remember documents that obviously aren't given to you, and just things like that. Just watch his videos and write notes. Write notes in every single class, whether you're talking about just basic, like, history, like Marie Antoinette, like blah blah blah, or you're talking about how to write something. Like, you just always have a pen and paper in front of you and just keep on
Also,
writing.
you could write it on a Google Doc as well.
100%.
Like I'm sure my Google Docs just like AP World this, AP World that, AP World that. It's a lot of AP World, but it helps at the end of the year when you're reviewing everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so the next question is, describe your level of commitment when studying for the AP College Board end of year exam. Like for me, I think I did have a large commitment when I was studying. I went Kaplan's. I recommend. Sometimes they're a little boring, I will admit. Sometimes they don't help. But it does give you the broader aspect of things, and it helps you refresh your memory, especially in those earlier units, because it's been a long time. It helps you refresh, especially when we go over it in class.
Yeah.
And also in the days before the test, I was watching Heimler history once again. Also what helped me was, if you look at College Board, there's a part that tells you what units are your weakest. If you go to reports and content and skill performance, it tells you, like, it has a little percentage bars and shows you, like, oh, okay, maybe unit 7 wasn't my best unit, unit 1, and then you can go back and review those. That's also very helpful.
Yeah. So for me, commitment level was pretty average, honestly, because I just have a lot with sports, but honestly, don't make excuses for yourself. That's something that I did, and I was like, oh, like, I'll be fine, like, after my lacrosse game, I'll study for the test, which is the next day, and I'm like, oh, so maybe not. So you just need to prioritize and commit to studying and writing notes and learning. And then once you do, everything else will become so much easier, because once you actually like commit to AP World, you'll realize, oh, like once I commit, I actually have time to do other things. It's not like a full-time job. It's just like, yeah.
And so the last question is, what is your overall experience with the 9th grade AP World History course? So I think for my experience, it was overall pretty good. But like I said earlier, the notes for homework I think could have been a little bit more spread out, a little bit more improved. And it's also, we walk away with a lot more practice and experience with an AP course.
100%.
It also definitely improves time management skills. You learn a lot of valuable lessons that don't apply to history, just applies to everyday life through this AP course.
So it's AP World is probably one of the hardest APs you will take in this school, and you're taking it as a freshman, which is like, it's
a lot of information.
That's
crammed.
really inspiring.
Yeah, it's a lot of information crammed into however many months the school year is.
Yeah, but it's what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, experience. It was a good experience. It helped me time manage outside of school, inside of school, with tests, with like writing skills, with like literally everything. So AP World isn't just about history, it's literally like your whole life. Like it helps you solve so many problems.
You will learn stuff that you will take throughout your life. You will use these skills throughout your entire life.
100%. Yes, you will. Yeah. All right. That's it.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.